The Walker family didn't believe in the paranormal before moving into their first home. That is until a string of truly chilling events forced them to hastily pack their bags one day and flee, never to step foot in it again. I'm Bleaky, and today I will tell you about the chilling real-life haunting of the Smokey Man, a spirit that made mocking baby cries and even physically pinned the occupant of a house to their bed while staring down at them with a menacing expression. For 3 years, Patricia and Derek Walker, who had been childhood sweethearts, waited for the Falkirk Council to give them a house on Kirkland's Crescent. By that time, they had a 17-month-old baby, and they were desperate to start their new life and provide their son with a normal home of their own. Little did they know, what they were about to experience in the council house was far from normal. Falkirk, which was voted Scotland's most beautiful town in 2011, is situated between Edinburgh and Glasgow in Scotland and was an important industrial town in the 18th century. Falkirk has seen some important battles in its time, including the Battle of Falkirk on the 22nd of July 1298, where William Wallace, who is depicted in the Braveheart movie by Mel Gibson, was defeated by Edward I of England. From the moment the Walkers stepped into the house on Kirkland's Crescent, Patricia said she felt uncomfortable, as if somebody was watching them. She chalked the feeling down to anxiety and excitement that the family could finally live in their own house, but it soon became clear that her initial hunch was true. One day she was getting ready to go out using the downstairs mirror in the hall. As she ran the brush through her hair, she got a feeling that someone was standing behind her. She ignored it until she saw something in the mirror that made her blood run cold. A middle-aged man staring right back at her, his face stern, confused and angry. She quickly turned around, but no one was there. When recounting the experience, she said that an overwhelming smell of coal or smoke surrounded her after the entity had vanished, which lingered for a short amount of time before dissipating. Kinda sounds like when it's my turn to cook, only I can't blame a burnt chicken on a ghost. Or can I? Patricia told her husband Derek about the strange encounter, but he laughed it off, telling her that she had just imagined it. As the weeks rolled on, however, Patricia experienced more subtle activity, like the cups turning on their own, the sound of footsteps when no one was around, and the unmistakable smell of smoke wafting around her. One night, however, things got worse. Much worse. She had checked in on her baby sleeping in his room, as she did throughout every evening. As she gently closed the door, however, she heard her baby squeal, "Mommy." What makes this chilling is that the baby was only 17 months old and couldn't speak. She rushed back to find the baby happily kicking its legs and smiling. She closed the door again, but as she got to the end of the hallway, she heard the same, almost mocking voice scream, "Mom" and "Mummy." Although she felt sick with fear, she burst back into the room to find her baby standing up in his crib, crying at something Patricia couldn't see. The mother was now certain she and her child were being targeted by something unnatural. Patricia turned to her husband Derek again, who still didn't believe a word she was saying. Because of this, the two began arguing, with Patricia telling Derek he wasn't supporting his family and trying to keep them safe, while Derek called his wife a psycho and told her that there was nothing wrong with their dream home and that she was trying to sabotage everything. The subject almost broke the loving couple up until something happened that would change everything and inadvertently brought the two together, and I'm not talking about a romantic trip to Disneyland. One night, Derek was lying in bed and had just dropped off to sleep. Suddenly, he felt himself forcibly rolled over and pinned down by an invisible force. Closing his eyes to muster the strength to break free, he opened them again to see a man leaning over him, his hands holding down his arms. Derek's mouth became dry with unimaginable fear as he stared into the pale, lifeless eyes of the stranger. With a burst of anger and fear, Derek screamed, "Get off!" to which the entity vanished. Patricia woke up instantly and asked, "What's wrong?" to which Derek hugged his wife tightly, like a terrified child. Derek felt terrible after not believing his wife, but eventually experiencing something himself. This was a sentiment Patricia shared, who felt let down by Derek, who had previously undermined her and made her feel like it was all in her head. Regardless, the couple were now unified in the same belief that the Smokey Man was haunting their home. The activity in the house continued, and the anxiety it caused almost caused Patricia to have a mental breakdown. She felt like the entity was deliberately targeting her and her son, as Derek's experiences were far less frequent and severe. One of the most frequent goings on was the stereo being turned on by an invisible hand, with the volume always being changed to max. After turning it off, the same thing would happen again. Maybe this spirit was just a headbanger in life and just wanted to rock out in the afterlife. Who knows? On one occasion, Patricia was looking after her son in the living room when all of a sudden the Smokey Man appeared, staring down at her with a stern expression, like someone who was angry that there were uninvited guests in his home. Patricia's instinct was to get up and run, but the fear paralysed her to the spot. The longer the ghost stood there, the stronger the choking smell of smoke got. Suddenly, the man vanished, along with the smell. After this, Patricia fell to her knees and wept, feeling completely helpless. The experiences continued to happen over the following months, with the Smokey Man heard walking around empty rooms at the house. The family had finally hit breaking point and reached out to the council. While I don't think the council has a ghost busting service, if they're anything like my local council, they will be waiting quite a while for the Ecto 1 to pull up. Just saying. Unbelievably, the council did offer the couple a new home, but they would have to wait for it to be ready. After seeing the Smokey Man one last time in the middle of the night, accompanied by the words that sounded like "get out," the couple decided they couldn't wait any longer and hastily packed their bags and fled to a family member's house until their new address was ready. Recounting the terrifying experience, Derek said that he felt like they shouldn't have been in the house in the first place, and that something terrible must have happened in the home before they moved in. A theory that turned out to be true. In 1938, a terrible tragedy hit Kilsyth in Glasgow when a fire spread throughout one of the mining collieries. Working in such close proximity with coal, lamps and oil for the machinery, fires within mines were a major danger and sadly happened all too often. Firefighters fought for 12 long hours trying to put out the blaze that ran deep below the ground. When the last cinders burnt out, rescuers, who were mostly other mine workers, discovered the full horrors of the accident. Twisted metal, warped tracks, scorched wooden beams, and the bodies of 9 poor men huddled together in a cramped space, who had no doubt been scared for their lives. While the flames never reached them, all of them had died from breathing in the smoke. The cause of the Kilsyth pit disaster was never determined, which meant that the families never got their closure. The bodies of the men were returned to their family homes as the community mourned. 2 of them belonged to Kirkland Crescent. One of them was 22-year-old Joseph Martin, and the other was 45-year-old Peter Walker. Going off the appearance of the man described by Patricia, it is likely that it was the spirit of Peter Walker who was still lingering. In newspaper articles on the disaster, Peter left behind 8 children and a widow. Interestingly, his funeral was held inside the family home at 42 Kirkland Crescent, and his last rites were read to him right there in the living room. Did the spirit know that he had died all those years ago and was angry that there were intruders in his home? If this is the case, then you can't help but feel sorry for the Smokey Man. When he left out that morning in 1938, he had no idea that it would be the last time that he would see daylight as a living, breathing person. It is said that those who haunt places do so because they experience traumatic death and have no idea that they are no longer alive. Then again, maybe he did know and just wanted to be left alone. This could explain why he made the mocking baby cries to scare the family, as well as threateningly pin Derek down as he slept. As time passes, it is said that spirits that linger become twisted and hateful. Is that what happened at Kirkland's Crescent? What makes this case fascinating is that the deceased man shared the same surname as Derek and Patricia. Could a family link somewhere down the line have allowed the spirit to materialise to his descendant and his wife? Or was Peter Walker a known relative and they simply used the infamous story to get themselves moved into a new house for another non-paranormal reason? Annoyingly, the address that Patricia and Derek had their terrifying experiences at has not been shared, so I don't know if it's 42 Kirkland Crescent where Peter lived at the time of his death, Or maybe a new house was built on the land where 42 Kirkland Crescent once stood. So if anyone in the local area has any more information, let me know. If you enjoyed this video and would like to watch more just like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It really helps my channel grow and will allow me to make more frequent uploads. And as always, sleep well, friends.